Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV and the Summoner. Back at Ymitra, Elegant attire. Greetings, Serenia. Though it's good to see you, I'm afraid I've yet to ascertain Tristan's ultimate objective. I only know that he's cunning and brutal and will stop at nothing to achieve his purpose. As matters stand, we but chase after the man's shadow. Such a straightforward pursuit will, I believe, leave us one step behind. Our sole advantage is the treasure we possess that Tristan appears to covet. Eventually, his desire will bring him to us. Where and when Tristan will strike, I cannot say, but it is unlikely to be a field of our choosing. Thus, I suggest we prepare for this inevitable conflict as best we may. As fortune would have it, the ruins of Mordona may have provided us with a new source of strength. Words among the sun is that a set of evokers attire has been unearthed. Made during the reign of the Alagan Empire, these enchanted garments were soon for the exclusive use of summoners. I can only imagine the degree to which they will enhance your already impressive powers. The man supervising the excavation at St. Conrach's Find, Ramrose, is a dear friend of mine. In light of our circumstances, I am certain that he will consent to a request that you will be allowed to don the attire. Shall we pay him a visit? And back to Mordona. Ymitra. I suspected you would make an appearance before long, and I presume this fine lady is the new summoner I heard so much about. Yes, hopefully the first of many. Now, pray tell me, Ramrose, has the discovery of Alagan-made evoker's attire been confirmed? It has. Truly a historic find. Then I would ask a boon of you, my friend. You recall the predicament of which I spoke? Our chances of survival would be greatly improved if you would consider allowing Serenia to wear the Alagan garments. Well, she is a summoner after all, and I must confess to no small degree of scholarly curiosity as to the effect the attire will have on one with the appropriate training. These finds are, however, the result of much sweat and even a few tears on the part of our exposition team. It is a frustrating task at times, and I fear they will be loath to part with the garments without some measure of recompense for their efforts. Allow me, though, to offer a solution. Metallic monstrosities of Alagan construction, known as mirror knights, have risen from the dig sites scattered across Mordona. Needless to say, they pose a dangerous threat to our excavators. I suggest you speak with my free field researchers and dispose of any such nasty hindrances to their work. I dare say they will then gladly surrender the pieces of the attire they hold. Once I have confirmed our dig site suitably empty of armored horrors, I will see you rewarded with the garments that I myself recovered from the ruins. A mirror knight lurks just over yonder. I can scarce think straight with that thing wandering about. Oh God, it approaches! Alright. You have my thanks. Now I might finally be able to concentrate on my tasks. If I'm not mistaken, you are in search of the evoker's attire? I have one of its wondrous pieces right here. You're most welcome to it. Praise the gods! The Emperor said an adventure would be long. But please, you must destroy the tower construction. Thank you for eliminating the source of my recent nightmares. I do not ordinarily stutter, so, you see, but abject terror has that effect on folk. Now, I hear from Yumitra that you have need of this elegant garment. I should be glad to see it put to practical use rather than shut away in some dusty vault. Okay. Mirror Knights, yes, they have become quite bothersome. I would be most appreciative were to eliminate the creaking pests that have been plaguing me of late. Not that unmoving anymore. Fascinating. I never thought I would be fortunate enough to observe a conflict against an elegant construction in such close quarters. This has been a deeply enriching experience. If the price is to be my piece of the Evoker's attire, then so be it. The champion of my researchers returns. With the ruins now free of Mirror Knights, the excavation can proceed at a far more satisfying pace. Trembling and fear for one's life makes it astonishingly difficult to handle ancient artifacts that have a tendency to crumble to dust. You have performed a valuable duty to us, Serenia. As promised, you shall have the summoner's garments uncovered by my own hands as your reward. Ah yes, Yumitra mentioned she would await you at Apkalu Falls. It seems there's no doubt in her mind that you would succeed here. And the Evoker's Horn. Okay. So that is how the summoners of old were clad. Well, more or less. It is unfortunate that the runes have yet to surrender the final piece to the suns. These garments, aside from the coloring, they are identical to the garb Tristan wore. You will find no edge against Euphoria's equipment. When next you face that murderous cat, victory will be decided purely by who is the more talented summoner. To that end, it is time you drew on your experience of defeating the primal Garuda. Yes, her aura of fickle violence is palpable upon you. It's astounding to imagine an edgy born of a Lady of Vortex. Such unpredictable ferocity should serve you well. I will search for a suitably airy location in which to perform the austerities of wind. You, my dear summoner, must needs prepare yourself body and mind for the trials ahead. I shall be waiting. I sense Garuda's restless railing within the confines of your etheric channels. It is time we granted it release with the austerities of wind. Thankfully, I already have in mind a location that is that well suits our elemental purposes. You are familiar with the floating city of Nim in Outer Lanusia? As you might imagine, the aspect of wind is entirely dominant in the area of those suspended isles. Pray make your way there as soon as you feel prepared. I'm quite excited to see this new Edgy. Shall we begin? I assume that this is your third such experience. You have by now grown familiar with the steps of the ritual. Thus, as before, I would have you concentrate on shifting your etheric balance. Imagine the energy within you howling through your veins, an incessant gale of screeching wrath. Garuda's essence will be only too eager to harness those raging currents and shape them into a worldly avatar. Once Garuda Edgy has appeared, it falls to you to tame its fury. Such powerful winds, there can be no doubt we faced Garuda's spawn. I would prefer the Titan Edgy right now. Beware the Avatar's feathers. Edgy of Garuda's minions, huh? Do my eyes deceive me? I'm certain you summoned but one Edgy. Okay. Got it. You learn to summon how to summon Garuda Edgy. Yeah. Masterfully done, Serenia. Garuda Edgy's power is now yours to wield. Your aptitude for the art of summoning has exceeded my highest expectations. I honestly could not have found a more valuable partner for my research. Let us return to Apkalu Falls. I'm sure you must be exhausted after this ordeal. The Apkalu Falls weren't just so far off the beaten path in Gridania. With the addition of Garuda Edgy, you now command 3 powerful avatars. As you have no doubt realized, however, each of these entities has a particular role in which it excels. For Garuda Edgy, that role is unleashing magic to strike down distant foes. I must admit to feel equal part joy and apprehension at how faithfully the summoned beings displays the original Primal's volatile dispositions. Experiment with your edgy allies and the most effective use of their individual abilities will soon become clear. With such mastery of the art at your disposal, I shall almost pity Tristan when he next chooses to confront you. Before that time comes, however, I will endeavor to pierce the mysteries of his motivations. May your discoveries bring you new confidence, Serenia. Casting Summon with Garuda AG instead of Kabang. So this is this one, yeah? Okay. Senior, there has been a terrible incident. My poor colleagues at St. Konak's find murdered. The reports are confused, but they all mention the same black-robed attacker. You know as well as I do that Tristan is behind this massacre. He has indeed grown bold or desperate to commit such a brazen act. We should set off to Mordona at once and speak with any survivors. It may be that we can glean some idea of what that cold-hearted monster was after, or where he might strike next. We must stop him, Zerenia. Yes, I'm absolutely certain it was the same dark summoner whom Imiter describes to us. We were celebrating the recent find, the soul crystal of an elegant summoner, when the man in black robe suddenly appeared and demanded we surrender the gem. Naturally, we objected to this arrogant imposition, but he simply sneered at our refusal. The next moment the world exploded into flame. Through the haze of agony, I saw him snatch up the soul crystal from a smoldering body and stride off toward the singing shouts. The bastard slaughtered my friends. There was no warning, no negotiation. If the gods grant you the chance to exact vengeance, then pray you show him the same mercy he afforded us. Another soul crystal. Yes, it makes sense that you would shift its attention to a more easily obtainable gem. After all your progress, you would now make for a most formidable opponent. I must apologize for not sharing my theory earlier. I suspected that Tristan might desire the soul crystal you carry, but did not wish to do any premature conclusions without sufficient evidence. I am at a loss, however, to explain why he seeks to collect more of these elegant relics. We shall just have to ask the villain himself after we corner him in the singing charts. Let us be on our way. Perhaps he's a tempered and does not wish his master to come under summoner's control or something like that because he considers an insult. I don't know. Or maybe he doesn't have one. Or he just wants to keep other people from mastering summoning because he wants that power to himself exclusively. Just throwing theories out there. We will see. Probably. An Asian. I have brought you the soul crystal as promised.
Yes, these appear to be authentic elegant artifacts. Very well, I shall honor our bargain. From within these gems I will draw forth the memories of the ancient summoners and the slumbering essence of an elder primal. All the attendant knowledge and power shall be yours.
Oh God, the pain! The bumbling summoner and the incompetent lackey make an appearance at last. You think to capture me? Fools! I have orchestrated your every move. You've grown much in the art, it's true, but through the wisdom of the paragons, I now command the power of an elder primal. You made a deal with the paragons, and you call us fools? The Ascians will never relinquish their hold on you. A small price to pay. If you could but feel the strength that fills my entire being. It is indescribable. I will use this power to annihilate the beast tribes and put an end to their insufferable rituals once and for all. The primals will rise no more. Hear me, demon king of devouring flame. Feed on my ever-burning anguish and be reborn. The culmination of my sacred duties at hand. But first, there's one more soul crystal that must be mine. I will tolerate its wasted potential no longer. Goliath edgy. I've never before sensed such power. All the more reason to finish with Madman. Ow, ow. No, it's not enough. Elias, I must have it all. He heals us. Maybe should focus on him instead. Mana. Ow. the tendrils of darkness. I must feel them. Tristan devours Belial's Aegis life force. None can withstand this tenebrous aether. I didn't think it possible. He absorbed the Aegis power. The power. I'm a god among men. By all the memories of Sumner's past, I should have been unstoppable. I will sear the disease of beastmen from the face of the land. Deprived of worshippers, the primals that tempered my weak-willed sibling will wither into oblivion. So, I see my order's records were accurate. Though it was buried deep in the archive, I but recently uncovered a report that described how you slew your own brother. He was corrupted during your ill-fated encounter with Ifrit, was he not? I imagine your superiors in the Immortal Flames fought at the mercy to conceal that inglorious detail. Once the soft-spoken fool had been tempered, there was no saving him, and thus I took it upon myself to expunge the stain of embarrassment. But my work is left undone. The primal? No. All primals must suffer for that insult. After I killed my brother, I found myself liberated, my vision clear. No deed was too vile that promised to add to the power I required. How can you not see? I am the sword of vengeance, and I shall wrest that soul crystal from your blasted corpse. Did he kill himself? I wonder which struck the first blow to his sanity. The despair at his brother's tampering, or the guilt from slaying his own kin. It is ironic to think that, discounting the means, our purposes were fundamentally one and the same. A summoner employs the savagery of the primals to conquer the primals themselves. Had Tristan approached us as an ally, we might have found ourselves aiding his cause. Alas, he chose to walk the path of bloodshed. Each vicious act must have pushed the man deeper into madness, until eventually the lust for power and vengeance was all that drove him. The might of the primals carries with it a burden of responsibility and a measure of danger. I hope never to see you corrupted by the potent energies you wield, Serenia. It's time we return to Apkalu Falls. The Dark Summoner is no more. I wonder if I can talk to the people at the camp. Okay, there was nothing else there, so let's finish this quest. Oh, how I would have loved to declare our troubles at an end. But I fear the Astian with whom Tristan made his bargain is yet afoot. These so-called paragons prey upon men and women who are at their weakest, speaking honeyed words to lead them down the road to destruction. In this manner they seek to plunge the realm of Eorzea into chaos. It is reassuring to know that heroes like you exist to foil their never-ending schemes and foul plots. An outright war against the Astian looms closer day by day. Thus I would have you armor yourself with this last piece of the Evoker's attire. It was discovered at the same dig site whence Tristan seized the Soul Crystal, and the St. Koinak find researchers, grateful for your actions in bringing the murderous summoner to justice, insisted that you complete your set. One can never be over-prepared when heading into battle against the Paragon. Wear it proudly, Serenia. Speaking of preparations, were you aware of a deeper layer of power hidden within your avatars? A technique exists that allows you to tap into the full potential of your Edgy. You must have seen Tristan employing this ability. During the final battle with the Dark Summoner, you would have heard a whisper emanating from the Soul Crystal. Still your mind now, and you will hear the voices of the ancient summoners instructing you to their greatest achievement. The true power of the Edgy will be yours. And Kindle. 3-minute cooldown. The climatic battle awakens ancient memories within you. That is the end of the A Realm Reborn quest. And talk to her again once you're in Heaven's Ward, which we are. Soul Summoner 1. Area Blast. Okay. Okay, this are those little wings on my back of the back of a garment? Okay, actually that is pretty adorable. And yeah, that is it for today. Until next time, when we continue through Final Fantasy XIV, I'm Mace and don't get lost.